Cam, ready? We go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou. Happy holidays to everyone, and another Tuesday night in the books. Great, a lot of football, a lot of gambling going on. Had a good weekend. The Lakers won the first ever. Um, what is it? It's a NBA
Playing,
Cup.
yeah, the
NBA. What?
end season cup tournament.
So, what'd you think of that? What'd you think of that whole?
I kind of I liked it. It's it put more intensity on the games, made it more important. Everybody, step the game up, and then with the it's an money incentive. It's a little salary incentive, so they play with a little extra. But I liked it. I like what the NBA is doing. They are changing things up, getting us more engaged in the regular season, and it's similar to how soccer is set up when they have like in season tournaments and things of that nature. So I'm all for it, Tony. I like it. I like how they got it. I like how they set it up to where there's an incentive when the further you go in the tournament. So and it got intense. So yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with it. I agree with it.
and they do it in Vegas,
Hmm.
which is cool. Does put a spotlight on the NBA during December. It was kind
Yeah,
of cool. They made sure everybody played. That was another thing, um, which is so important because that's one of the biggest complaints I think people have with the NBA is they pay a lot of money to go watch them, and then people are sitting on the
yeah.
bench
And everybody's
trying to
sitting on the bench eating fries and stuff on the side of the bench.
right, and that's not what they paid all the money for. But yeah, it should
Right.
be interesting the rest of the season. We'll look forward to see if the Lakers could win the cup and the NBA championship all in one season. Be the
Yeah.
first to do that.
They got to do something with their shooting. They
Yeah.
need, they still need some outside shooting, but I think they should be able to make a good run. They should be able to make a good run.
How about Indiana, boy? Hey, man, they could shoot some
Indiana is a
ball.
problem. Yes, Indiana is a problem. It's gonna be a problem for the East. Now, I think their momentum is gonna slow down once they start running into the Milwaukee's and the Boston's, of the East. But for the most part, I think with everybody else, I think they're gonna be a good matchup. Maybe the 76ers a little bit, but I think that Indiana is gonna they're in the way they're playing now, their momentum can take them far into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, prior to the season, at least, they play. It's a run and gun. You know what I mean? A lot of keep up
Hmm.
with us if you can, and that's definitely a heck of a pace to play a 7 game series. That's for sure. But
Right.
like I always say, it's all be interesting to see how it ends up. Going into Thursday night ball, I mean, the Patriots and the Steelers. I picked the under, and I was wrong. I mean, the Patriots had more offense that game than they've had in 8 games
Practically the whole
combined.
season.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Right.
like, well, all of a
Practically the
sudden,
whole season.
yeah, Matt Jones is playing lights out. I'm like, really? Uh, yeah, Matt Jones had an interception, had 3 TDs. Trubisky didn't really play terrible. He had 1 pick.
Mhm.
It just, I don't know. It just was a matchup. Bill was on top of the matchups, and the Pittsburgh fell to 7-6. But that division that Pittsburgh's in is still up. You know, what I mean, it's going
Still
to
up,
be
right.
going down to game 17. I mean, week 17.
Mhm.
To it's not going to be a. In fact, let me see something. Let me do this. Boom. I have 4 going there. It's always good to have multiple screens.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, because when you look at their division, you look over their division. I mean, um, yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're
the
still
wild card's
third.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Cincinnati
third in the
seven to
division.
six. Yeah,
Hmm.
7-6. Pittsburgh 7-6. Cleveland's 8-6. Baltimore Ravens are. In fact, that may be one of the winningest divisions right now.
Hmm.
In fact, it is, because even though the East has got 10 winner teams, the other two are 4 winner teams. But yeah, like I said, it was came out of nowhere as far as like the way the game went down. It was a good game, good for Matt Jones. The Patriots won. Buccaneers and the Falcons. The Buccaneers came into the Falcons, and I think the Falcons are starting to come down to earth.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's this matchup, and the Buccaneers, they came off a loss, especially off a game they thought they could have won, uh, and and it seems like I want to say that's how Atlanta plays, but to be honest, that's how the whole NFC South has been playing. Very unpredictable, losing games at home that they should win. Especially when you're playing a division rival, you should win
Right.
that game at home. But Atlanta, they hung in, but they wasn't able to pull off the W. And
And
I
Ryder had
guess
a
I
big
just have to
game.
give. Yes, he did.
367,
Right.
347. Yeah. But you're right. That division there is, I mean, it really is between the Saints, the Falcons, and Tampa. The only one that's
Mhm.
truly out of it is Carolina.
Right. And who knows what they're gonna do if in fact they get that first round pick, because do they keep Bryce Young? He's kind of small to me. And
Right.
there was rumblings that they wanted to get uh CJ Stroud. The coach wanted CJ Stroud.
Right.
Upper management, which who makes the decisions, they like Bryce Young better. Got Bryce Young in the building, but like the other quarterback, they that come in there, he's kind of small,
But I
and
don't think
he
it's.
go
Go
ahead, Joe.
ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead and finish what you were saying. Then I'm going to add
No, but
something to it.
yeah, but like I was saying, um, he's a smaller guy, so I don't understand if that was they pick, why they didn't, build or start building around him. Since he's on his rookie deal, I think they would try to get some vets in and some weapons to help him develop, or get an
I
offensive line that could block a little longer to where he can get out of the pocket and see the field.
I think I think what you're saying is 100%. I don't think we don't know what. Yes, he is a short quarterback, but I think, in all fairness to him, he has nothing to work with.
No.
You know what I mean? So he's just running for his life, and it's not even fair to even say how good or how bad he is, because I don't know. I know that team's bad. Yeah, that team's,
Team
but
bad.
hey, we'll get to them. But Tampa Bay holds on. The Falcons lose.
Mhm.
And this is another team. The Bears beat the Lions. This is like the
Right.
Lions. Yeah, of course. This is history of this is many years of tradition here. But
Mhm.
Justin Fields had a good day. Um, Jared Goff had 2 interceptions, and the Lions are 9-4. And I
Mhm.
mean, they're going to have a winning record. There's no doubt about it. But
Right.
it's games
But
like too unpredictable. I think that's why I didn't like.
right. Too
Remember, we
unpredictable.
talked about this game. We were like, I don't want nothing to do with this game.
Right. Because
Um,
we didn't know which team, the inconsistency makes it hard, to bet
to
on
put
either of these teams. You would think that Detroit winning this game would put them back, in the top five. Well, they're still in the top five as far as the NFC, but we would be
right,
talking about them more. It seems like they're sliding down the hill, with these road losses, especially to teams that they should be able, to win over because of the talent that they have. But doesn't seem the case. And you can't predict that when it's in division. You don't know which way it's gonna go. And that's why we stayed away from it, and they didn't pull through.
yeah. Hats off to you if you picked the Bears.
Mm-hmm. Good pick. Good pick.
Great pick. Now the Bengals and the Colts. How about that backup quarterback for the Bengals? Um,
Yeah.
Jake Browning, real
Jake
deal.
Browning.
Jake Brown and ain't he's nothing to. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks this year, in the last couple of years that have really shined when they've been given the opportunity, and I think it's great. And Minshew really didn't have a bad day. He had one pick, 240 yards. But the Bengals are still in the hunt at 7-6 without Joe Burrow. So that team is definitely persistent, and they're trying to stay in. They're definitely not trying to help on any kind of draft choices. They're going for the win.
Mm-hmm.
This next game was another tough game that me and you both said that what we liked on it, but we didn't like was the Browns and the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Now Sunshine played. He had a high sprain. But he had 3 picks, and so I think that's and 3 touchdowns. I think that leg's probably bothering him a lot. You know what I mean? That trying to throw on it. And Falco, how about Falco, man? He didn't do bad.
No, he did not too bad.
Flacco.
Didn't do too
Wow,
bad.
that's a
Flacco.
Falco. I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking
Flacco.
of replacement players. I was thinking of replacement players. He had 311 yards. I mean, they won with him, and Cleveland's in the mix. So
very much in the mix in that AFC North. But like we said earlier this season, that division was going to beat each other up, and when it comes playoff time, we're going to see different teams, because they're going to beat they
yeah, they're 8-5. Yeah, they're going to beat the crap out of each other.
So they're going to beat up on each other, and then maybe one of those guys might catch a wild card.
Yeah. Now,
because of the record.
Now, how about your Saints going against the Panthers? Were you happy with the victory? Were you happy with how it went down?
I was happy with the victory. I was also happy that they listened to me last week when I said, why is Jimmy Graham on the team if you're not going to use him? Guess what? Get down the red zone, they get Graham, 3 touchdown catches. 3 touchdown catches. He's the hero of the weekend. And
he didn't have a lot of yards neither.
No, he didn't have a lot of yards. So that means, he's red zone effective. So, it's just, it's kind of late for me for things to start, turning in the right direction. Hate to be, and I don't want to be one of those Saints fans that praise them when they high and they're crap when they lose. I don't want to be one of those guys. I just, we just look at, quality of competition. We feel like that that's the game that the Saints were supposed to have against the Panthers.
Absolutely. They did exactly what we thought they should do.
They did exactly. Everybody showed up, executed, and they came out with the victory. Now, can they continue that type of play throughout the remainder of the season? That remains to be seen. I feel like they got playoff talent, but I don't feel like they're going to get far in the playoffs, because talent level that's in front of them is a lot better in a lot of areas that we're not good at.
True.
So yes, I give them kudos and the flowers for the victory. Love it. We just got to keep the ball rolling so that we can put a dent in this, or try to make it to the playoffs.
Right. Now, next game I got totally wrong. I picked the Texans. I picked the over, and the Jets defense was way too much for the Texans. The Jets are 5-8. I mean, they're out of it, but kudos to them. They pulled off a victory. And like I said, this is one that I got totally wrong. Put them in a couple parlays. Got it wrong. And hey, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But I was wrong.
I feel like it was a trap game for the weather and
and the weather was
rough.
Yeah. And we've been saying now these weeks coming up, pay attention to the weather, because the weather is going to start being a factor. Now the Rams and the Ravens, man, I thought the Rams hung in. Yeah.
Excellent game.
Yeah. They Lamar Jackson, I mean, he had a great day. Matthew
Hmm.
Stafford had 294 yards, 3 TDs. I mean, very good game. They pull. I mean, they definitely pulled it out. The Ravens pulled it out. Ravens go to 10-3. You watch; they're going to end up with the home field advantage. Um,
Yes.
Ravens are playing good football.
Defense is stepping
Consistent.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
defense is stepping up. Lamar looks good. Um, they definitely playing some good ball. The Vikings and the Raiders. That was like watching paint dry. Um,
Yes. Um,
oh
definitely
my
was a
gosh!
highlight game for me. Definitely caught,
Holy cow!
definitely watched the highlights on that one just to see if I could, pick anything out of this game that I can highlight. And wasn't a lot. Wasn't a lot.
Wasn't a lot. It was definitely a defensive game. I mean, they didn't kick that field goal to in the fourth. Yeah, it wasn't a. It was definitely the under game. It was not the high scoring. I wouldn't expect them to be too high scoring, but yes, that's very true. Um, try to get it to go like this. I think it will go here. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, so we're looking. All right. All right. We'll do this. All righty. Yeah, it was a tough game
Tough, tough game.
to watch. All right. Now, San Francisco and Seattle. This was a little bit. This was a little bit more than I thought it would be for San Fran, but
Mhm.
San Fran pulled it out like they always do. They had good running numbers, um, and they just Debo and McCaffrey. I mean, they just keep doing what they do, and it's a 1-2 knockout. Um, Purdy did have an interception. He threw for 368 yards, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
McCaffrey rushing, he had 145 yards. I mean,
145 yards
holy,
rush on a
yeah.
Pete Carroll defense.
And a Pete Carroll defense. Yeah, that was they. They did it. They really did. Like I said, Seattle kept it close. It was 14-10 going in the half. And then it was 21-10, then 21-16, and then 28-16. Then San Fran looks tough. I'm like I said, I'm
Yeah, they're going to be
definitely
very hard to beat in these playoffs this season. It
going
seems
to be
like
tough.
they've turned on the switch.
They really have. They have really.
And it started with that. It started with the Philly game. They turned on the switch, and it seems like they are locked in.
Purdy and McCaffrey. If you go to your individual player bets, your boost bets, there's some money to be made with yards, how many touchdowns. Be careful, don't get too greedy because the better he does, the more they keep raising the yards. The boost is like, oh, he can run for. Don't get too crazy, but I think if you can stay around 80 to 102, it's very doable as far as the yards. But yeah, try to keep your boost reasonable. And Drew Lock, for Seattle, he didn't have I mean, he had 2 picks, but he threw for some yards. So it wasn't I don't know. Like I said, it was San Fran was at home. They did what they do, and at the end of the day, the better team won. They come out. That is for show. All right, next game. Ooh, would be my Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City. Did you watch this game? How
Oh,
much
I
of this
watched
game
this
did?
game. I watched the whole game. I watched this whole game, and yeah, it's it's coming to a head now. What's going on with that offense, Tony?
Oh yeah,
It seems to be some those the, now the the lineup mistake that Kadarius Tony, if I'm saying his name right, but I know his name, I know his last name. The lineup infraction, those little things are what you perfect in practice. That's what you go to
Yes.
practice for, to make sure that you're behind the line, behind the football, line up straight. And those are little mental mistakes, I feel like, shouldn't have been, it shouldn't have happened, but at the same time, can you really beat them? Don't beat them up too bad because they can happen. But very, very costly penalty. And at the end of the game, we saw the frustration in Mahomes
Patrick
at the
Mahomes. Yeah.
refs. Yeah. I'm not sure what the play call was that he was mad about. Was it that play, or was it the play
He
where
was
he
what
got
I got.
hit as he was throwing the ball?
No, what I got out of the situation was he felt like they shouldn't have called that pity patty of a penalty. That should be a penalty that they should overlook. In the heat of the game when the game's on the line. And I'm like, the problem with that, and I know we can argue either way, but then it'll be like, well, if you're going to forget about that penalty, the face mask wasn't that bad. And he was, I mean, then it goes on. And before you know it,
Right,
we'll be,
right.
we'll be,
Not
well, it was a clip, but it wasn't a bad clip. And it's like, now we're analyzing. And he was
now we're
definitely over
analyzing
the
everything.
line. Yeah,
Yes.
he was over the line. Yeah.
And
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 why didn't the center tell him? Why didn't the
right.
center?
And also, Tony, and that was the if I'm not mistaken, that was the actual play where the ball was tipped and he caught it and ran it in the end zone. Wasn't that the same play?
Yeah,
So if they would have let the play slide, of course they would have won, but it's a lineup infraction,
right.
and they probably would have got fined for not calling that because it was so obvious
I
of an
I
infraction.
de- I definitely
If we're
agree.
watching it on TV and we can see him, then of course they're gonna, they can see it and they're gonna call it, you know.
I agree.
And
I
I get
totally
it,
agree.
I get it for Patrick Mahomes, but it just feels like to me, Tony, that seems like they're missing the enemy a little bit.
They need some. Let me tell you something. They need some wide receivers. They need some top quality. They need some stuff because, like you
Yeah.
saw the drops. They need some
Mhm.
stuff. They're
All
lacking
season,
uh,
all season with the
all
drop.
season. You absolutely. Now the Broncos and the Chargers. The Broncos had a good
Whoa,
game,
good
and
game for the Broncos. For the
the
Broncos,
Chargers
yeah.
7-6. I mean, the Chargers. I mean, at the end of the year, if the coach, the general manager don't all go, I'll be surprised because all they've
Right.
done is um, just wasted away another year of Justin Herbert and all the talent
Yeah,
that they
great
have.
talent. Yeah, great talent
Yeah,
that's not making any progress. Uh, it
any
seems like
progress.
every time they're ready to hit the button on the head coach, they pull a W out. But
Yeah,
these are the games that can't save your job,
yeah.
because when you lose to the Broncos, you're losing to your division opponent. You got to see them people twice every season. So
Correct.
not good for the resume. It seems like Sean Payton is getting that ship back to, getting it to the
Yeah.
way that he wants it. I still feel like he's got some talent that he got to pick up. I'm still not sold on Russ with him.
No,
I don't
no.
think I don't think Russ fits what he's trying to do.
I totally
But
agree with you there, but
where do you go? What other quarterback are you going to get that's better than Russ?
well, the problem is they're so pot invested on him.
Yeah,
They have so much money
yeah.
in the middle that there's
Nobody's
nothing.
taking that. There's nothing they
Yeah,
can do
nobody.
but ride that out.
No, that's what they're going to have to do. Going to the Dallas and the Eagle games. Hey, my hat's off to the Cowboys. Good win. I'm impressed. I said
Something
this is
that
probably
I've
the best
never
team.
done.
Yeah, yeah. I
Something I've
mean, it's
never
the
done on this
best team
show.
that you beat. Yeah, Yeah, they look
Salute to the
good.
Cowboys.
My
They
only
look good.
yeah,
They're ready.
my only suggestion is to stay focused and don't lose focus on the prize, because as soon as you start sucking all this up and
Yeah.
thinking it's
Start
yeah, this
talking.
ain't the yeah, because I will say this, you guys have great season records. Not doing so good in the playoffs. That's the only thing that matters. But Dak
Mhm.
looked good. Um,
Yes.
he looked good. They were protecting him. The defense looked good. Um, and it really was an all around win. And Philly just, I think Jalen Hurts is hurt. That leg is
Hmm.
bothering him, and they got a lot of people out. I think they need to heal up and get ready for the playoffs. But again, uh, Dallas has got two tough games coming up, and we'll get to that. They got the Bills this week, and then they got
Hmm.
Miami. So the other two are Washington, and so that's not
Yeah. Winnable
um,
game.
and New York. Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
um,
Washington, New York.
Washington, New York. It's not thing. But like I said, hats off to Dallas for the win. Um,
Mhm.
when we get back, we got some time. But when we get back, we're going to go over some spreads. Can you believe we're in week 14?
Week 14. Can you believe that this year's about to end?
I cannot.
We was just talking about Halloween coming up. We blink our eyes and it's the middle of the month. It is the middle of the last month of 2023, y'all.
You
Where does the time go?
remember we were doing the countdown for the season. Remember that?
Yeah. We were doing the countdown
That's
for the season, talking about, with the added games, how long the season is going to be, and it still feels the same. Still feels the same.
still feels the same. Um, it definitely still feels the same. Again, I want to thank some of our sponsors, SI Motorsports on Benton Road, um, Big Robbie's Billiards, Barksdale Boulevard. Go by and tell them that Tony G and Big Lou sent you. They'd appreciate to hearing from us. And like I said, if you guys go to our webpage, not our webpage, but go to kmradio.com, press play. It's 24 hours a day of great programming, shows like ours, great music. If you guys are interested, if you guys are want to do some advertising with the station, our show, the other shows, it doesn't matter. They got anything for any budget. Give them a call. Ask for E-Law. Again, KM Radio. Press play. 24 hours a day of great programming. All right, guys. When we get back, we are going to have a lot of picks for you guys right here on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on the Sportsbook on KM Radio. We go ham.
Yeah.
KM Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G. Big Lou Tuesday night. Hot picks, week 14. Got a lot to talk about. A lot of good games coming up. I think there's some money games. Trying to pick the advantage. First game is the Chargers and the Raiders. This is going to be a tough game. I like the under in this, Lou. I think it's too close.
Hmm.
I think it could go either way.
Hmm.
The Raiders are playing at Raiders are playing at home,
Hmm.
but again, this is going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough AFC, division
Tough,
game. They're
yeah.
going
Tough AFC West divisional rival.
to, I mean, the under 35.5. This could easily be 9-0, 12-0.
Hmm.
I do like the under and I do like the under. I like the Vegas. Right. Vegas under
Hmm.
33.5. Yay,
All
yay.
right.
Game two, Minnesota and Cincinnati. Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati's only -3.5. I think this is a way value
Wow.
game. I know,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. I guess the Sharks don't have that much faith in Jake Brown.
I don't know how he's played very well. I mean,
Right.
he is definitely. I like the Bengals at home
Hmm.
-3.5. I don't know. if you could see it. I mean, the under over 39. I don't know if you could see it any other way, or if you can make an argument
I can't even
for
make an
Minnesota.
argument. Right. Can't even make an argument for Minnesota. I think um the Josh Dobbs magic, I think the magic is running out. Now teams know that, they know his limitations now. It's got tape now.
Yeah,
So now, you can kind of calm the seas with it. And I don't know. I just don't see I don't see Las Vegas losing another game at home, especially against their division.
right. I think you got a point there. But
They're gonna
like I
show up
said,
this way. Yeah.
yeah, Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati at home minus
Yeah. I
three and a
like
half.
Cincinnati at home. Yeah. I don't know why I went
It.
back to Vegas, but I
It's
guess
all
I'm
good,
supposed to.
man.
I think I'm doing some next year birthday prediction or something. I don't know, but yeah, I like the Bengals over Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota's going to play well in in Cincinnati.
What about? I wish you would have called me. Um, what about um, what about Pittsburgh and Indianapolis? What are you thinking? I just watch. I
Mm.
mean, I both of them inconsistent as heck.
You gotta let that you gotta exhale on this one. It's hard to explain because it's like they're both playing the same sort of. They
Yeah,
lose games we think they're supposed to win, and then they sometimes they don't show up at home, and then they'll do something and they'll beat like one of the top tier teams in the league.
right.
So ah, both 76, same record. It play the same actually. But you got Indy in the dome, but does it count now? I mean, does that even
Yeah,
count? So
I
oh,
like the under
I think
42.
I'm with you on that. I'm gonna go with that under on this one. I just can't
I don't like picking Pittsburgh or
confidently put yeah, I can't confidently put my stake on either team. I don't have confidence in either team. So it's gonna be hard for me to make a bet. But I do like that under that you're talking.
Denver Broncos and Detroit Lions. Denver Broncos are getting 5 points. I mean,
Mm,
I see this bet only one way. Tell me what you're looking at.
okay. I know Detroit lost to the Bears. They lost to the Bears on the road. Come back home, get back home, get back to familiar territory, familiar area. And I think we're gonna see the I think we're gonna see a better Detroit Lions team this Sunday because they're gonna be at home. Everything is gonna be in their favor. They're gonna be, familiar. Sometimes familiarity works. And I think Detroit's one of them teams, they're a momentum team. The momentum carries them. And I think them being at home, I think they could very well pull off the victory over the Broncos, especially with them playing on the road and, with their it seems like Detroit should got more talent. They got better players, so they should win this game. Should win the game
I
is the
agree.
key word here.
I think they can, but I like Denver with the 5 points,
Yeah.
and
Like
because
I
I
said,
think I yeah, it's one of those games where Detroit has not come through at times and not showing up. Um,
hmm
and like I said, they're on pace to have a winning record. Period. Um, but I think they're still lacking a lot of pieces and they're lacking a lot of consistency. Um,
hmm
but Denver the points I kind of like, and especially if it went up a little bit more than this, I really like. Uh, it's +5 if it went up to 7. I really like that. Um, But Detroit's got to show up. You know what I mean? They got to come with the.
They got to come with it. They haven't, they haven't played. They haven't played that tough football that we saw earlier this season.
Right.
Like we're not seeing the Detroit Lion team that beat the Chiefs, and beat other top player, top teams in the league right now. We're not seeing that. It seems like they, I won't say they hit a ceiling, but something's going on where they got to get refocused. And I think going back home might refocus them. But like you say, Denver is on the street right now and they're clicking, even though I feel like Detroit has better talent. Denver has a better coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with it. More experience. That more experience. Now, Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns. I like Cleveland at home.
I like Cleveland at home too. I don't Chicago got that home win like they were supposed to. But now you're on the road, and you're on the road in Cleveland, and the dog pound is going to be serious out there, especially with them still winning, with what they have. And I don't think Detroit have enough to bring out that victory on the road.
Yeah, I like Cleveland. I like Cleveland at home.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Cleveland at home -3. The over is 38. I'd have to look at that. And like I said, this is going to be another weather game. Definitely look at it. The Detroit game obviously is in a dome, so it's not.
Right.
Next game is Kansas City -9.5 against New England. I expect Kansas City to bounce back, Lou, but I
Oh, of
also
course.
expect this spread to be a little bit tough to cover, only because New England he'll pull something out of his hat
Mm-hmm.
to frustrate Pat, and we know that Pat's offense is having problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Bill knows
and
that his receivers are not reliable. So
right,
there's going to be some physical DB play on those receivers when they go to New England because
absolutely, absolutely,
hmm
absolutely. This is going to be a tough game. I like the over though, the 37.5 Kansas City over. Um,
hmm
watch this spread, KC over.
and KC is going
Watch.
to get more, and I think they're going to get more yards on the ground this game too. I think they're going to go at Bill with the run game first to see if they can loosen that defense up a little, and if that run game works for KC, it's going to be a hard day for Bill. It's going to
I
be a hard
agree.
day for Bill.
I totally agree. I think, like I said, I like the over 37.5.
hmm
Watch the spread. Watch your report. Could be another sloppy bad game. Very easily could be snow, rain. So again, watch all this. This plays a um, huge factor.
hmm
Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers. Is this the week Carolina Panthers they win their second game, or I mean, Atlanta should be able to go in there and just
Yeah, they should be able to go in there and
destroy
handle
them.
their business and come on back home. And handle their business like the Saints did. But Saints were at home when they played the Panthers. And is Atlanta a good team on the road? Are they a good team on the road?
No, no, historically
But
not.
historically not. I think they have enough to beat Carolina because their roster is better than Carolina's roster. Carolina's at home. We'll just have to see. But they've only won one game. They've only won one game. That lets you know that the talent is not there, so they can blitz all day. They can blitz all day.
So a couple weeks ago, Atlanta let me down on the over. The over in this
Yeah.
game is 35. 35. Stay away from it. Stay away from. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Um, Los Angeles Rams and the Washington Commanders. I like the
Mm,
Rams. It's the way they've been playing. Washington seems to be um, not very with Rams. I like the Rams over the Commanders. It's -6.5.
hmm Yeah. Rams playing at
Um,
home too.
and they've been playing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they have.
Stafford's been making some incredible throws. He made some incredible throws the last game against the Ravens, you know. And Cooper Kupp was outstanding too.
Cooper Cup. Um, yeah, I like the Los Angeles Rams. 49ers and Arizona Cardinals. The spread's 13.5. The money line's -1,000. Put that in perspective, I think.
Hmm
Wait a minute. I think if you bet 100, you win $10.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
Um,
have to do, I guess, if you're gonna try and make anything out of this game, you're gonna have to play like yardage
the
game,
spread.
catches game, yeah, spread, catch game, how many yards, how many rushing yards. You're gonna have to make your money. You're gonna have to make cleanup money. Don't bet that.
So
I,
I I think the Cardinals may come to play for a little bit. I think they could be real
yeah,
close in the
yeah, they're
first
gonna play for
half.
a little bit.
Um,
Hmm
and then finally they'll be outclassed. Um,
Out coach.
yeah, outcoached, outclassed. This is another good game. Look at McCaffrey's what they're offering for his yards, TDs, catches. Um,
Hmm
like I said, some of them it's not as much as you think it is. Um, picking your boosts for your individual players, which is not a bad setup. Here we go. The Dallas Cowboy and the Buffalo Bills. What you thinking? They're coming to now. Buffalo's favored. I don't know how we got here. Buffalo's favored by
Weather,
2. Weather
weather.
at home.
You got weather at home. Josh Allen. Momentum's on their side because they beat the Chiefs. That's a playoff contender. That's their brick wall, so to speak, when it comes to going far in the playoffs. So everything everything is going Buffalo's way. And I was talking to one of my coworkers today because they uh they watch the show, and when I come to work on Monday, everybody wants to ask me, what about this? What about this game? What you think about this game?
Right.
And they asked me about this, and I told them, I was like, well, yes, the Cardinals are 3-10. 49ers are they asked me about this game. They was like, is this going to be Cowboys trap game? Because they didn't know if it was going to be this game against the Bills on the road, or was it going to be the next game against the Dolphins? They asked
Right.
me which one of those games are going to be the trap game. And I said, it's probably going to be this one because of the fact of the weather, cold, you know. It's a different type of cold. And I do get pushback from that, Tony, about weather. I do get pushback from that. It's like, well, the NFL players, they do it every season. I was like, yeah. I said, but it gets cold in Shreveport every winter, but we still complain about it. We still get 30, we get
Yeah.
30, 40 degrees here. It's different. 34
True.
degrees here, it's way different than 34 degrees in Buffalo. Trust me on that. I'm talking to a person that's from there, and I'm friends, with Rude Boy Artwork, you know,
Right.
and they were there a couple of years, and they've been there, and they're from that area. They've been in that area for a while too. So it's going to be different, and these is going to be one of those games. where I think the defense is going to be on the field a little bit longer, and they don't like to be on the field long when it's cold. But we'll see. I think this is the trap game for Dallas. Everyone think it's Miami. I think it's this. This could be their trap
So
game.
so I am pulling up. Um, so that would be Sunday,
Mhm.
the 17th. Um, and so where my people live, the high is going to be 47, the low is going to be 38. Now, where the game is played is about 30 minutes away, which usually the temperatures are a little bit lower. So we wouldn't be surprised if now the game starts at 3:05. Um, so I won't be surprised if by the time the game's um, ending that it could be it could be 30 degrees and it's very
Mhm.
windy. And,
Mhm.
and a cold front could come in from Ontario anytime.
Right.
So that's just one of those things, or a bad snowstorm. So yeah, the weather isn't a factor yet, but it can be. -2. The Cowboys are coming in. Um, should be a very good game. If both teams come do what they, if both teams will come and do what they're supposed to do, it it will be a great game. That's there's no doubt about it. I like it. I'm not picking anybody. I like the under at 49.
Mhm.
I I would like it better when I know the weather for that day because again it could change. Right now it's just going to be cold. Baltimore Ravens at Jacksonville Jaguars. How hurt is Sunshine? That's the question I think here. How
Mhm.
bad is that sprain? I know they got a playoff. They're fighting for a playoff. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, do you sit him and let it heal? I mean, he had 3 interceptions. That could definitely be from him planting his foot. I mean, what's your thoughts
Yep.
on Jackson? I mean, you got to play somebody top notch because you're playing the Ravens.
Yep. Playing the Ravens, so I agree with you on that, Tony. But if you are playing the Ravens and your quarterback's not 100%, and they are very well are in charge of that division, I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's
risk
true.
it because you're top of the division. There's no one close, to overtaking you. So I would sit him, let it heal, and bring him back. Next week. That gives him a whole other week.
Let's
To get right, to make sure everything's okay. And you bring your starting quarterback in so he can take you into the playoffs. I don't think you risk it. And I know Baltimore is they defense bends sometimes. You can't score on them, but by them knowing, by the report being out there that he's hurt, they're gonna blitz. And you're gonna
right.
risk doing further damage to him, by going off of it. I would sit him, take what I could take out of this game and then just march on for the rest of the season. But I would rather have my franchise quarterback healthy than, than putting him out there and putting everything on the line for one game when there's no one in your division that's close to you.
Actually, Lou, in that division in Jacksonville, they're on their neck. I think we were looking at the wrong. I think we were looking at the wrong division because even Indianapolis, they had a bunch, but Houston's got on a winning streak,
Yeah, I
and then
forgot about
Indianapolis,
that. Houston's
yeah,
got like
and
what,
so
3-game winning streak.
yeah, they had one, and then because they're 7-6, Indianapolis is 7-6, and Jacksonville Jags are 8-5.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no rest for the weary there. Um,
So they are
they're
closer than
yeah.
yeah.
So that probably tells. I'm sure he's not practicing. I'm sure of that. I'm sure they're not.
Mhm.
Um,
I
I'm
still
sure he's
would I
maybe
still would
think
sit
about,
him.
yeah,
I still would sit him.
maybe not. It's not a bad call, and live to fight another day, and then
Mhm.
make a run on the
Because you're gonna need him. You're gonna need him later in the season. You know, you're gonna need him more later than now. I
yeah,
would sit him now, and if I take a L, I take a L. You know, but I would sit him now, let him heal, so that he can carry it on for the rest of the season, as opposed to where Joe Burrow's situation is,
yeah,
where he was playing
yeah,
too early, and now you know, even though Jake Brown is playing well, Jake Browning is not going to get them to the Super Bowl,
right.
because if he could, he would be starting somewhere. So
True. No,
yeah,
no, no. You have a yeah. You have
I
a
would sit him. I would sit him, but that's just
uh. Watch this one. The weather's going to be it's going to be nice in Jacksonville. You ain't got to worry about that. Maybe a rainstorm, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Uh, the next game is Seattle and Philly. Um, this could be a this could be something because the weather in Seattle gets
yeah,
um
gets weird, gets rainy, gets wet,
yeah,
and this could be a possible trap game for Philly
yeah, it could be.
on the road in Seattle. You know, the way that stadium's set up, it's gonna be hard to play. And you know, but we said it that at the end of the season, Philly is gonna get tough for them. But they need this. They need this win though. They
They
need this
do. They
win on the
need.
road.
Yep, they do. They need this win on the road because they're trying to separate themselves from Dallas
Hmm.
because now it's close, and they're trying to get home field advantage, give you an extra week of resting. And boy, by the end of the
Hmm.
season with 17 games, everybody needs an extra. If it's only 6 days, it's an extra to heal. A lot
Hmm.
of bumps and bruises, and I think that's some of the other problem with Philly is that they're beat up real bad, um,
Yeah, yeah.
and they need a rest. Um, and because they're a good team. And Dallas,
Hmm.
man, Dallas called them out last night. Dallas did what Dallas wanted to do, and Dallas did what they're supposed to do.
Hmm.
And you got to watch the Seahawks. I mean, Geno's out for. Is Geno out for the rest of the year?
Not
Because
sure.
he didn't
I got
play
to check
last.
on that.
Yeah, he didn't play last night, but I think he's out. Um, but their backup did a very good job. Um, almost guided them through. I mean, it's a Pete Carroll team. It's always going to be well ran,
Hmm.
good self discipline. It's got a lot of Pete Carroll qualities about it. I mean, it's always going to be this and that, well run, well organized. A lot of rah rah rah, a lot of rah rah this.
Yep. And DK Metcalf is gonna get. He's gonna have a game against the back end of Philly is suspect. So DK
Yes.
Metcalf's gonna have a game. Gonna have a game with it.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of people that don't want to see him in the playoffs. Metcalf.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Mm.
people because he, my friend, is a beast of nature. He definitely can. He's a game breaker. He's a
Yeah.
game breaker and a game maker. That's for sure. That guy is a stud. He gave Dallas all they could handle. He was
Mhm.
like a one man wrecking crew, actually. But like I said, check out your spreads. Um, check out your spreads Sunday because they change um, with bets, injuries, and like I said, check out your boosts. Um, check out your boosts. And there's another one that's called Bet360. It's another site that they and you can do like a $10 deposit and they'll give you
Mhm.
$350. You got to
Mm.
make a one bet. You don't get the cash, but you get the money to make
Yeah,
bets,
to make more
and
bets,
you get
right?
three. Yeah, 350. And whatever you win from that money, you get to keep. It's not a bad setup at all.
Mm.
Um, yeah, 360. They got a promo code. And then if you try to do the friend to friend deal where you refer people and you can get referral cat. You can get a little cash, some points. You can get some points. There's a bunch of different stuff to have, a bunch of different bonuses, deposit bonus and all that. So another week is in the books. I want to thank everyone. I hope everyone has a great holiday this year. And enjoy your family. Enjoy everything, man. We got Christmas coming up. We got New Year's. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you want me to say. We're the sports book is down with everybody. We love everybody. But
everybody.
We're down with it. Yeah, we're just happy people. But again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Big Lou, thank you. I want to thank Eli at the station and all our KM radio family. Again, if you guys got some announcement or anything that you want to give us a call at the station, go to our webpage, go to our Facebook page. We got a sportsbook page. We got a KM radio page. We got pages. There's plenty of pages. You can leave comments, numbers. Yeah, DM us. We got you. All right, Lou. We got another Tuesday in the books.
Hey.
Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, KM Radio, where we go ham.